All right.
I'm ready.
Large Ray, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome to the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast, man. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. I love talking.
This sure is, man. I know you have a lot of stories, and I'm really excited to hear them. So this is going to be like a special edition of the show where we're going to try to do this every month at least. And you come on and tell your stories. And now people, you know, they want to hear stories from you. You'd be like, here's the link. Go fucking listen to it.
Here's the link, man. It'll save you a lot of time.
I'm too big now.
I'm
a star now.
Totally big time. I can't believe I had time to fit this in my busy schedule between watching baseball and farting on the couch, but I found some time.
Well, I'm glad you squeezed me in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, if you would, give a little introduction for the people who don't know you. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but...
That's fucking putting me on the spot, man.
If you could.
Well, my name is... the name on my birth certificate is Raymond Joseph Schleckweg Jr.
Yeah.
And but in the BMX world, people call me Large Ray. That they gave that name to me. One of the guys in the magazines, Mark Luman, he was pretty good at coming up with silly stuff and catchy stuff, and so he gave me the name Large Ray, and now people today still call me Large Ray. So
yeah,
that's who I am. I was in the BMX world forever, and we're going to a BMX thing this weekend. So the main part of my life is I used to ride BMX bikes and wasn't ever good, but that's a whole nother story. And that's it. I live in King of Prussia, got a wife and kid, a job, and unlimited unlimited data. So there we go.
Yeah.
That was very important for the 45 minutes it took me to set up, to hit the unmute, go into my settings.
You know, it is important because if you don't have it, Zoom will just fucking eat your data up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to do that to somebody. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to.
We got a 10-year-old, so he needs that unlimited data for downstairs and all the bullshit. So when we go on trips, so
for sure,
you know, that's why we got it. All right.
So I'm really excited, man. Let's get into this.
Yes.
I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna bring up some pictures. Let's bring this one up first. I described the picture a little bit because even though this video will be on YouTube, it's also, you know, like a podcast that people just listen to, and sometimes they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. So
yeah,
I'm going to, let's move this over a little bit so we can see the picture.
I remember that day very well.
And Ray's riding a bike, BMX bike, and it looks like he's got like a fucking exhaust pipe on it. There's smoke coming out of the back. This is a classic picture, right? This is like,
it is, yeah.
This is the picture.
Yeah, a lot of people still talk about that photo, and like the photo is much better than the actual video because the run that I had there wasn't very good. But that photo was in the magazines, and you know, still today people will come up if we go to one of these like old school things, and they'll come up and show me that picture and be like, "Dude, remember this?" So a lot of people were at that contest, and it was in magazines, so a lot of people recognize it.
Yeah. So what's going on? You know, you got to tell me what, I don't even know what it is. Like, is there a dynamite, stick of dynamite on the back of it or something?
It's a smoke bomb.
Okay.
And what it was is, this was an outdoor event. All the AFA events were, they were usually indoors, but in California, you know, the weather's pretty good. So so it was an outdoor event, and I really didn't have very many tricks. Especially at that point, I had like maybe like 2 or 3 tricks. And so I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go out and do this run. Now, when people entered these contests, like your brother Joe Gruttola, he would have his full factory horror uniform on, and he looked like a soldier out there.
Right.
He looked awesome. But me being so big, I couldn't get a jersey. I couldn't get pants. I couldn't get anything. So I'm entering an AFA contest, which is like a big deal, and I got a flannel shirt, painter pants, black Reeboks, and a Led Zeppelin shirt. And so I'm gonna go out and do a couple tricks, and I'm like, I might as well just put a smoke bomb on my bike because, you know, what else am I gonna do? So I would go ride around, and when it came time for my run, everybody would come and watch because when these contests, there'd be like there'd be 100 kids in your class, and every kid would go out and ride to the same Beastie Boys song or Cure song, and they do the same tricks. So unless you were really good, it was a really boring day. So
Sure.
when they'd see me get on my bike and start pedaling out onto the where you do your routine, they're like, who is this like fat dude? Not like people thought I was a janitor or something that just like got on a bike, you know? So, so then I put that smoke bomb on, and then the rest was history. You know, I don't even know what place I got in that contest. I might not even have looked. I don't even know. But the helmet I'm wearing and that I have right next to me here, I just happen to have it on all my bikes. So
nice. Let's see that again. You got it close. That's you good?
Yeah. Can you see that? I can't see.
Yeah, I know it's small, but yes, I can see it.
That's what my wife said on our wedding night. But anyway, so anyway, that's what that and there's the whole reason, let me just get this going here. The whole reason I started entering contests was that I would go to a contest and I would bring my bike, but I didn't enter because I sucked. I didn't have any tricks. And I would go into where the pits were, where the riders were, and I'd just cause a ruckus, like I'd goof around. And the guy that ran the AFA, Bob Morales, he said, look, you got to go up in the stands and sit with your friends because you're causing a ruckus here and you can't be down here. So my friend's manager, Magoo, Gary Pollock's manager, on the year before this in the velodrome, he said, hey, tell Ray he doesn't have to sit up in the stands with everybody. He can be down in the pits because I signed him up for the contest. And I was like, what do you mean you signed me up for the contest? He goes, well, now you don't have to sit down. You're going to enter the contest. And I said, well, what am I going to do? And he's like, just go out there and ride around. So I just rode around and did like 2 tricks, but I didn't get last place. There were 79 riders in my class, and 18 over expert, and I got 78th. And then It all started from there.
Wow.
The legend of Ray, Large Ray, happened.
This is where it began.
And that's where it began and ended real quick. But
well, that's not true, man. You got a legacy here.
I do. I have a long legacy. Yes. So, all
right.
Are you wearing a Vision Streetwear shirt?
I am, man. And you know what?
Oh my God!
There's
pictures of me wearing that same fucking logo.
Yeah, I wore this for you. First of all.
Okay, that's awesome.
Second of all, this isn't Urban Outfitters. This is a legit. This is my brother's.
It's probably yeah. I was probably there when your brother got that sweatshirt, and I'm not even kidding. Because we go to contests and Vision Streetwear would be there, and after your run, if the crowd fucking yelled at you, they'd throw you fucking Vision shit. You know, maybe they're trying to sponsor anybody. So that's
crazy. I dug this out, man. I was like, I gotta find that sweatshirt. I got my rad book up here. Just got it.
Yeah. Rad. I have a Bill Allen story too.
Oh, dude, we got to get into that for sure. But maybe we'll save that for the next one. I'm gonna write a note on that actually. So let's bring up this next one here. There we go. We got yes. Ray sitting next to Glenn Danzig, the man.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's going on here?
Anymore? Well, that's Glenn Danzig, and I'm wearing a Hammer shirt from R.L. Osborne. Name drop. So a friend of ours, her father or uncle owned some nightclub, and they were like, "Hey, Glenn Danzig," or back then it was just Danzig because I think he was done with the Misfits, and they said, "Hey, they're going to be doing a show here," and so we went there, and I sat at their sound check, and there was nobody in the building but me, and they sang a song. Glenn Danzig like looked at me, he's like, "How'd that sound?" And I'm like, pretty good. I was like starstruck, and then so that was it, and then they did their concert, and then I took a photo with them, and then I had friends that worked at the magazines. That's how I started getting in magazines, not because of my skill on a bike or good looks. So I sent this picture to Mike Daly that worked at Freestyle Magazine, and then he put it in the magazine.
So do you still talk to him, or
who's Glenn Danzig?
Just like, yeah.
Oh no, he didn't even speak, that little midget. That was just a one time, like I just saw him there. I didn't know him or anything. And but they said he didn't feel good. And I was like, well, can I get a picture with him? And they're like, well, yeah. And I kind of like walked into the room, and he was standing there, and he's like, he's probably 5 feet tall. He's really small.
Right.
He had these big boots on, but he's still like a midget. And I'm like 6'2". And so he kind of saw me and he just sat down in a chair and he's like, and I'm like, what? I'm going to stand. So I had to get down on my knees, and I'm still way taller than him. So I had to get down on my knees and get that picture taken, and that was it. But he wasn't, I think back then and even now, he still like got that, like, I'm a tough guy and whatever. So
yeah. Did you ever see that video of him getting knocked out?
Fuck yeah, that's great. He got the shit knocked out of him. One punch, dude. I watched it 100 times, dude.
He was like sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah. That dude fucked him up.
Yep. I mean, I don't, I never really heard anything great about him, to be honest with you. Yeah. But, he made a couple good songs.
Yeah. I liked him enough to go see him and get my picture with him. So,
absolutely.
Well, actually, he got his picture. He got his picture with me. So I told him.
That's right. That's right. Especially now, man. You are,
Look at that picture.
After this show, forget it.
Yeah.
All right. So this, you were on an episode of MTV Made, which, if you guys don't remember that, it was like a person who wanted to be a certain thing. And that person, someone like yourself, you're in the BMX world. Someone wanted to be, and this was a girl in this instance, right? She wanted to be a BMX rider. And
that's not the girl that wanted to be the rider, though.
I know that. No, I know that.
Woo!
I know that.
Yep.
You were on this show, and this is a picture of this. There's a girl sitting on a bike, but it's not the girl in the video.
No, that's a stripper that came back to our house after we shot at the Lilas in Philly. And it was like, it was bad news. It was well, actually, when they did the edit of this show, one of the guys came to me and he goes, "Hey Ray, we're like editing the show, and we got to the whole strip club scene." He goes, I'm gonna make a little video of this and send it to my friend at HBO. He's like, because this would make a great show, like having you at a strip club, because I've never seen anybody make fun of girls for 20 minutes and not be rude. And I'm like, well, okay. So I was just being really silly. I was really inebriated that night, and we had a lot of fun. And this young lady, who I don't remember her name, she came back to our house and we videoed a lot of stuff, but none of it made it on MTV. It wasn't anything brutal, but it was just a bunch of drunk 30-year-old dudes being like 15. So it was pretty fun, but nothing you could put on TV.
Yeah, no, definitely. That show, by the way, I don't know if you ever watched it, besides.
Yeah, I did.
After
we did the show, they gave me the premise of the show and I watched it, and I thought the show was pretty lame. But
it was funny because all these people wanted to be on this show and they wanted to, live their dream of what they wanted to be. And when they got the opportunity to do it, within about 5 or 6 minutes, they were like, this is really hard. I don't want to do this anymore. And it never really made like a great show. I was like, what is the point of this? Right. These people don't actually want to do this. I'm not sure about, I did see yours, but we're talking fucking long time ago.
Yeah, it was in 2003 we did it.
Yeah,
so I'm not good at math, but that was probably like 16, 17 some years ago, 18. I don't know.
Right.
So it was a long time ago.
Did the girl become a BMX rider, or?
Well, what happened was, I had seen like the show. Like they showed me like this kid wants to become an opera singer, and then he gets up and he sings opera. Then they had a kid that wanted to be a basketball player, and they get him a coach, and then the kid goes in for like 2 minutes at the end of a game and like makes a shot but doesn't even make a shot. And I was like, man, this show is really beat. So they gave me videos to watch while we were filming it. And they said, we want you to turn this girl into a BMXer. And the one thing I had going for me is I have a lot of friends that are really good at riding BMX, like my local friends here, Gary Pollock and Warren Marchese. They were basically the people that taught her how to ride. And then, but we went to Dave Mears' house, and we went to Woodward and Kevin Robinson and all the guys from Little Devil and all this stuff. They came and they made this girl ride all the time. And in the show, I was her coach, but I was just there to make fun of people. And but in all the other episodes, the kid goes to play basketball and he just like, I made it on the floor, yay, and that's the end. Well, here, I called the producer when we were at Woodward and I said, hey, Kristen's like hucking these backflips into the foam. And they're like, what? And so they had this like little makeshift contest. And in the contest, she threw a backflip and she had only been riding for like 6 weeks. So it was like
Wow.
on MTV, it was huge. Like they played the hell out of that.
Right.
They had it on like 3 times a day for like 6 months. So
Because it was one of the successful ones, really.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I was pretty famous for about a year. Anywhere I went, people were like, "Hey, are you that dude?" So it was pretty funny.
That's awesome, man. So now we're getting to the big one here. Been excited.
That's
about
what
this
my
one.
wife said on our wedding night too.
Yeah.
But,
now, how is that possible?
She said that too. No. There it is, the dreaded Liberty Bell.
All right.
Holy
so this
cow.
is the story we've been waiting for.
There's nothing on the internet about that story. About if that's what you're talking about.
There's nothing.
Like,
Okay.
not
cool,
a lot of
cool,
people.
Cool.
Yeah. There's nothing. You are getting an exclusive.
I was gonna say
That's
now there is. Now there is.
Wait. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
No, good.
I spaz out sometimes. Don't worry about that.
No.
I was gonna say, the email response we got from this guy is something.
Yeah.
That my accomplice. You didn't know that was my accomplice, right?
Mm-mm.
What are you fucking smoking? Who smokes cigarettes? What are you fucking crazy? Who smokes cigarettes? Fucking Eddie Van Halen just died, and you're smoking fucking cigarettes. You fucking retard. Come on, man. Oh my God.
Good
Forward of the
fucking-
curb for Eddie. I got some
fucking
whiskey
question.
here.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm in the garage, dude. I smoke. I just fucking smoke all day long.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Dude, you
All
gotta
day.
quit.
I know.
I mean, I smoke cigars a lot, but not like, you gotta quit smoking, dude. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Don't make me start giving you advice. I am the king of advice. Where I work,
Do it, man. Do it.
20-some-year-old kids come up to me and they go, "Yo, Johnny told me that you're great with advice because you've seen everything happen." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I have 3 like real good pieces of advice, and one of them is don't fucking smoke. One of them is don't be fat, but look at me. You know what I mean? But no, you gotta quit smoking. I'll yell at you about that later.
Yell at me, man.
In the meantime, smoke up, man. You're good.
I'm putting that in. I'm keeping that in. So just so you know. So this is just I don't know. Did you take this picture? Who is this? Who the fuck?
That's a calendar where I work. That's me in the background.
That's
right
you?
After I was talking to you the other day through text message. Yeah, I was walking through work and there was a calendar. I work for a copy center.
Right.
And we print all, books and whatever, and we do calendars. And somebody had this hanging up in the bindery where I work, and I was like, I just got done talking to you about I have a story about the Liberty Bell, and then boom, the Liberty Bell was there. So I took a quick little picture of it with me kind of hiding in the back with my mask on, because we got to wear a mask everywhere. And I was like, that's pretty funny. So then I just sent that photo to you. I actually posted that too on Instagram.
Yeah.
But
it was meant to be, man.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Let's get into it, man. When did this happen, and how old were you? And let's set up the scene here.
Yeah. So I live in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. So in 1976, it was the bicentennial. So everything around here was red, white, and blue. And I live right near Valley Forge Park, where they had this huge thing going on, like for the bicentennial or whatever. So one of the things for in school, I was in first grade at the time, and they said, "Hey, we're going to go take a field trip to go see the Liberty Bell." And so whenever you go on a field trip when you're a kid, you have to have your partner. So my partner was my friend Adam. He's a little kid. He was like the smallest kid in our class, and I was the biggest kid in our class. And it's kind of weird because my son now is the biggest kid in his class, and his best friend is the littlest kid in his class. So maybe there's something there. I'm not sure. But so we go on this field trip, and we get to Philly. We get off the bus. We walk to Independence Hall, and we're getting ready to go see the Liberty Bell. And as I'm walking down the street, there's a hot dog vendor there, putting mustard and sauerkraut on hot dogs. And I whip out $1 and I buy a 7-Up. And it's one of those big glass bottles from like the 70s. So I have my 7-Up. I'm waiting in line. And we finally like walk in. It's the kind of thing where you're going to like walk in, you're going to go around the Liberty Bell and then walk back out. And back then, all they had was a little velvet rope around it. So you could see it, you could lean in and touch it, but you're not allowed. And so we got up to it, and me and my partner, Adam, were standing there looking at it. And Adam reaches over and kind of touches it and like almost like pushes it a little bit. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's kind of like, you know, I just want to see if I could ring it. And I'm like, I don't think you can ring it. I'm like, you have to get that gong at the bottom and hit it, you know, hit the gong or whatever, that thing in the bottom, that pendulum thing. And so he's just like, well, why don't you just hit it with your bottle? And I was like, okay. I mean, we're 7 years old. So I'm just like, I lean over and like I said, I was like the tall kid. I lean over and I hit it like 2 or 3 times and it makes a little ting noise, like a little bing bing. And and then all of a sudden, the park rangers that are like guarding this thing, they come running over, they grab me, they grab the bottle, they take me out the door, and it's causing like this big ruckus. And the teacher's like, what's going on? They're like, this kid just rang the bell, he smashed it with the bottle, all kinds of bullshit. And so my teacher gets me and she takes me back to the bus, and I have to sit on the bus for like the next like 3 hours while everybody's like touring Philadelphia. So I get home and my parents were like, hey, you know, you got in a lot of trouble today. And I was like, I know, but you know, it was kind of Adam's fault. He told me to do it. And then they used the old, like, well, if he told you to jump off a bridge when you do it, all that nonsense. So after that, I wasn't allowed to go on any field trips for the rest of the year. I had to sit with the second graders and do math problems. That's why I'm never good at math. But so Adam was my buddy, and we hung out a lot. Like we'd go over to his house and like I had a sleepover one time, and he threw a rope ladder out the window that he had to like escape, like it was an escape ladder, and he and I jumped out. And when we got to the ground, and this is like 4 o'clock in the morning, he was too little to reach the thing, and I was too fat to pull myself up. So me and Adam are stuck outside at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 in the morning in front of his house. So we had to like knock on the door. Someone had to let us in. And so there we are, we're getting in trouble again. So maybe this Adam dude was bad news, or I don't know. But so then let's fast forward. Oh wait. So he winds up moving. Adam leaves. He leaves King of Prussia and he moves to Maryland. And back then you don't have like his phone number, and you don't have email, you don't have anything. So this kid's gone, so I'll never see him again. And he also had my Hot Wheels, which is a very, very touchy subject with me. We were playing with all my Hot Wheels. I had this like killer Hot Wheel set, like the garage, the airport, all the shit. And I left it at his house. And then I'm like, hey, I left all my stuff at Adam's house. And this was like a week later. And my mom calls and they're like, dude, there's no one there. He's gone. So I was fucked. But anyway, so fast forward 10 years later, I'm going to a contest in Long Island, and your brother is there, and there's a Nassau Coliseum, Nassau Community College, I think it was. So I'm walking through the parking lot, and my friend Gary Pollock, his manager, is in the parking lot with a group of dudes. And his manager Magoo was really good at introducing people to people. You know, he's like, hey Ray, have you ever met Spike? No. He's like, yeah, this is Spike. I'm like, hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. And like I'm talking to him, and I'm with my friend Warren Marchese, and I go, who's this Spike dude? He's like, oh, he works at Rockville, Maryland, which was a big place it was a bike shop, and they had great shows there all summer for like BMX or freestyle. And I couldn't like, I'd see him and I'm like, dude, he reminds me of a kid when I went to first grade. And Warren's like, well, who? And I'm like, this kid Adam, he talks exactly like him and he looks like him. And he's like, yeah, but this kid's name's Spike. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So that was it. And then about 5 months later, Spike got a job at Freestyle Magazine, and he was leaving Maryland and he was driving out to California, and on his way he was going to stop in York, Pennsylvania and do a story on the plywood hoods for Freestyle Magazine. And so me, Warren, and a bunch of other dudes went up there, and we're hanging out all day while they're taking pictures and they're interviewing these guys. And all day I'm like telling Warren, I'm like, dude, this dude, he's got to be related to this Adam kid, because he talks exactly like him. because Adam had a way of speaking where it was a very distinct voice, kind of a little bit talk like this, and not a lot of people talk like that. So towards the end of the day, the guy that he was with, who was a photographer, he goes, "Hey, Adam, do you have the keys?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Did you just hear what he said? He said Adam." No, he didn't. I'm like, "No, he said Adam." And you're thinking he said Adam. He didn't say Adam. So like a few minutes go by, and he's like, "Hey, Adam, do you have something?" And I'm like, "Why is this dude calling Spike Adam?" Because at that point, I just knew him as Spike from Rockville.
Right.
And I'm like, "Dude, he called that dude Adam twice." I'm like, this is ridiculous. So they wrapped up the day. They're all done. And Adam and the dude, or Spike and the dude, are going to the car. And I'm still thinking this kid reminds me of Adam. And I said, "Hey, this dude's calling you Adam. Why is he calling you Adam?" He's like, "He didn't call me Adam." All right, well, I heard him call you Adam twice, and I want to know why. And he's like, what do you care? And I'm like, "Well, because I think I know you from elementary school." And Spike just looks at me like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I said, "Did you grow up in like King of Prussia, Golf Mills area?" And then he kind of like looks at me and he goes, "No." And I go, "Did you go to Golf Road Elementary School?" And then he's like, "No." But then he's like looking at the dude like he's being like interrogated.
Right.
And I can tell by like his body language, like he's getting a little freaked out. So I'm like, "Do you have a sister named Julie?" And his eyes get real big and he's like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Ray Schleckweg and you're Adam Spiegel." And he just got this like big giggle on his, like big grin on his face. And I'm like, "You're Adam Spiegel." I'm like, "I'm Ray." He's like, "Ray?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're Adam Spiegel. We were in first grade together. We rang the Liberty Bell, you fucker." And so then now Spike Jones is Adam Spiegel all of a sudden. So then in the BMX world, like Spike was like well known. He worked for the magazine and he was a rider. And then as time goes on, the next day I called Wizard Publications where Mark Lumen worked, and I was like, "Dude, you're not going to believe this." I go, "I was just hanging out with Spike yesterday. He was doing this story on the hoods for you guys, and Spike and I knew each other in first grade." He's like, "That's impossible." I'm like, "No, it's not impossible." And so luckily, and if you look on Instagram, I have our class photo, but you can see our class photo, and it's got Spike down at the bottom with the little kids and me in the top with all the big kids. And so I sent that to Lou, and I said, "Look, dude, like Spike and I were in first grade together." So that was always really funny. That was a story that a lot of people in the BMX world thought was crazy, because we were these two separate dudes, like Large Ray, the goofball, and then Spike Jones, the photographer and writer for Freestyle Magazine. These guys knew each other, so it's pretty funny.
Right. That's
so we rang
insane.
the Liberty Bell. We rang and it is, dude. Ringing the Liberty Bell is like a federal offense. There was a dude that did it with a hammer, and the dude went to jail for like 20 years.
It is, man. Yeah. You made the crack a little bigger too, I think.
I did. I make a lot of things bigger when I hit it. But before we did this today or right now, I sent an email to Spike, and it's funny because sometimes I'll send Spike an email and I won't hear from him forever, or he just won't even respond because he's busy doing his thing. And so today I sent him the email, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this podcast with Joe Grutola's little brother, and I'm gonna talk about the Liberty Bell." I was like, "Is that cool?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Sure." So you have the email.
Yeah, I have it right here. Well, we knew the consequences when we did it. I remember you turning to me right before you did and saying, we may go to prison when we are 50 for this. And I said, "Fuck it, let freedom ring."
Yeah, that's exactly how I remember it when we were 7. Word for word, he said that. But
that's awesome,
that's funny.
man.
Yeah, that response he had is pretty funny. Yeah, because I don't even think he really remembers it. He probably doesn't even remember it, because I remember it because I got in trouble. But I mean, like, if I didn't ring that thing with the bottle and get in all that trouble, I probably wouldn't even remember going there, So
Sure. That's awesome, man. Do you talk to him to this day still? Or, I mean, obviously in the email, but like.
Yeah, no, I mean, we still like, I'll send him an email every once in a while, but like,
Yeah.
I don't call him up and tell him, like, hey, my son's doing this and blah, blah, blah. He's just, we're on two different levels. You know what I mean? He's busy doing shit. But he's still, the thing that's awesome about him is like, where, like I ran into him at an event probably like 11 years ago. There was a premiere in Hollywood for Joe Kid on a Stingray. It was the history of BMX.
Yep.
And Spike was there. And and so we got there and I saw him, and the first thing he said to his friends that were there, he goes, "Hey, you see that dude right there? I went to first grade with him." And they're like, "What?" So I always think it's funny that's the way, that's what we always talk about, because that's how we know each other. But
Sure.
last year he was doing the thing for the Beastie Boys. He was doing like this. He was doing that I guess
Story?
like the documentary thing or whatever you call it.
Yep.
And one of the things they shot in Philly, and so like tickets were like $100 and some bucks, and we went to buy tickets and they were sold out in like a minute because the Tower Theaters, it's big, but it's not huge. And so I sent him an email and I said, "Hey, Spike, we're planning on going to this thing." And he just said, "Hey, you guys got tickets?" And I said, "No, we don't have tickets." And he goes, "Well, tell me how many you need." And then boom, we got tickets. We sat right in the front and got to watch it. And then when it was over, Spike came out and talked to us. Spike came out and was just yucking it up with us.
Wow, man.
So
I got to hang out with you more often.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
very fucking cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do this. If you're down, you're gonna come back next month.
I'm down for anything. I got nothing but time, dude. I got nothing going on.
Awesome, man.
Maybe in the winter it's gonna start snowing. I'll have to take the snow blower out. That's pretty much all I got to do. I really got nothing going on these days,
Very cool. We'll do this. We'll do this at least once a month, if that's cool. And
yeah,
we'll just keep the stories rolling, man. We'll keep them going.
I got stories.
Bring people back into, that's what I'm kind of trying to do here, like bringing the old school back to this new school kind of technology.
Yeah. Well, I'm old school. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, it's all good, man. Like, I could tell at the beginning when you couldn't get Zoom to work.
When I couldn't do it, when I was like, "What does this button do? How can I?" Dude, I went into the settings and turned my microphone on. Dude, I'd have a better chance landing a plane from the ground, telling someone how to do it than fucking turn my volume on or my speaker on.
Yeah.
That's some hard shit.
It is, man. It really is. I had to like learn this shit. My wife does this all day, every day. She's like, she can run this. She can run Zoom. She can be like the CEO of Zoom.
Yeah.
She does it for her job pretty much.
Yeah.
So she taught me everything I knew. But it was like kind of like a crash course, you know what I mean? Like, so you got it pretty fast, man. It took me like a month, I'm like, why the fuck is my microphone's unmuted, but it's saying I'm muted? It's all fucking technology.
I figured that shit out quick, man. I can figure anything out. I figure out shit better when I'm with my friends, because my friends can figure out shit. That's what I've been doing my whole life. I can't figure out shit, but my friends, I'm like, just ask Warren. He'll tell you how to do it. He knows how to do it. Yeah.
Right. I become that person though, because I learn everything. And unfortunately, I become tech support for everybody.
Yeah. My whole life, I need tech support. I need tech support. Watching a frying pan in my kitchen, my wife's like, "I got to put your glasses here. You can't. There's still egg on this, and you put it back in the cupboard with egg on it." I need a lot of help. It's tough. It's tough being me.
My biggest thing is like tech support for me is Google. I don't know.
Google.
I don't fucking know the answer. So I go online and I'm like, this doesn't work. Why? And I figure it out.
Dude, isn't it crazy how many times a day we have to Google shit? Like,
dude,
I mean, like what the fuck? What is that? A bug on the tree? Elliot, Google that and tell me what that is. And they'll just Google it. Oh, it's a something. Like, we use Google all the time. Like, I seriously can't figure out, and everybody I'm sure says this, how did we survive before like cell phones and all the shit and the internet? Like there's shit that like, how do we get anywhere?
Yeah. I think about it all the time, man, because like I'm kind of in the middle. So late 90s, cell phones started happening and things like that. But for the first, 15 years of my life or so, besides beepers, I didn't really have, you know, beepers, and even like, you know, even computers back then were garbage.
Yeah.
AOL and all that stuff, you know. I mean, it was amazing then, but now it's trash.
Yeah.
But now it's evolved so much that I don't think anybody who grew up past the year 2000 would be able to survive.
Yeah. Oh no. No, I couldn't survive, dude. If you took my phone away, I wouldn't be able to do shit.
Oh,
I
yeah,
couldn't do anything. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't know anything. Like everything's right on your phone, you know.
I lucked out because you know, 5 years old to 18, I was in school. You know what I mean? So I had all my connections there. I talked to people like that. There wasn't a fucking Facebook or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then I graduated high school and like MySpace came out, you know. So
you never
I always
graduated.
I graduated.
Did you graduate?
Oh yeah.
I
mean barely, but I graduated.
My boss, where I work right now, made me bring my my diploma in years ago because he's like, nobody can be that stupid. And like, you know, I mean, he couldn't do that today. Today, you could sue him and be like, I can't believe he did that. But back then, he was just like, dude, you're like, what do they call it now? Special needs. You're a special needs dude. I got to see your diploma. So, and I interrupted you. I do that all the time. I'm the king of interrupting people while
I was going nowhere with that, honestly.
I'm sorry.
But I did graduate. But we're talking like, you know, just skin of my teeth, like, you know, a couple summer schools here and there. You know, I just about squeaked by.
I have a story that we'll do next time for the BMX crowd. That's a great story that I had. I'll give you a quick bit of it. I had to do I was in a class called PE major. It was basically gym every day. And it was for slackers that didn't like want to do anything in school. Right. So for our final grade, it was like a week before you graduated high school. My final grade is I had to teach a sport. And of course, I'm like, I'll teach BMX. And my friend Gary Pollock, who was the number one rider in the world, he wasn't able to come and help me because he had to take a final. So very last minute, I'm sitting in front of my my class, and I have a bike and I can do one trick, and I'm screwed. And we'll tell that story later. Awesome. Hollywood couldn't write the story that happened to me then.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a couple stories for next time. We got Bill Allen lined up, and now that one. Yeah, for me, dude, fucking 12th grade, like my senior year was just because I cut gym for like 3 years. We were on an open campus, meaning if you want to be a fuck up, you can.
Well, who cuts gym? Gym and lunch are the best parts of school.
Yeah,
you're probably smoking. Were you smoking back then?
I was smoking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You should have
So in 12th grade, I had to make up for all that shit that I cut. So it was only every other day that I cut for gym because I had it in my schedule every other day. So when you add it all up, it was like 2 years worth of gym class that I cut. But they were able to put it into 1 year because, like I said, it was every other day. So I don't know the math of this, but I think it was like 4 or 5 times a day I had to go to gym. I would just, I would just go in the morning and like dribble some basketballs and whatever the fuck they were doing. And
so you didn't use it to your advantage. You could have been in the NBA. I mean, you look like you could be in the NBA now. No,
you know? I still slacked off. I just did the bare minimum. I mean, we're talking like, I just like played some sports and took showers like my entire senior year. That's it, dude.
Took showers. I don't think one kid took a shower when I was in high school. We had
I took showers all the time.
The jailhouse showers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna be. You picture me taking off all my clothes, my little bushy D is sticking out, dude, and I'm like, no way. I'm not getting undressed for nothing. I could be sweating like a whore in church, and I'm going right to class, dude. I'm not taking anything.
I was never shy, man. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I was just like, I'm sweating.
I don't think my wife's ever
seen
me naked.
You know, like I don't want to go to fucking. Now I have to go to like an actual class. I don't want to be disgusting, so I have to take a shower. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
man,
Ray, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. That was fun. I love
absolutely. And we're gonna keep it rolling, man. So I'll be in touch with you, and we'll set up another day.
All right, and don't be afraid to edit stuff out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna chop it up, make it tight, and I know that's probably what you said on your wedding.
Can you make me look any thinner? Can you make me look any skinnier?
I'll do in honor of
like
Spike
this
Jones.
is me sucking it in. Yeah.
In honor
I'm
of Spike
sucking it in
Jones,
right now.
I'll do
Where
like a fisheye lens
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
Beastie
Okay,
Boys.
yeah.
You know, like a Beastie Boys
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. A Beastie Boys video.
Yeah.
I love those Beastie Boys videos, man.
Oh, all right, dude. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Take it
Peace.
easy. Thanks.
Hell fucking